Quick backstory. In June, I think, Edward Snowden, a former NSA contractor, traveled from Hawaii, I believe, to Hong Kong, and from Hong Kong to Russia, and leaked massive amounts of documents about the NSA surveillance on Americans and also NSA surveillance on foreign countries as well.
But he leaked them from Russia?
He gave it to other journalists such as Glenn Greenwald.
The original leak was Hong Kong. The original leak was from Hong Kong.
Okay.
Okay, so first one is the European Union, and what the NSA did was they bugged and tapped into cables at the European Union buildings in Washington, D.C., New York, and they said their reasoning for this was to gain knowledge on specific policy disagreements and risks between EU countries. They also infiltrated computers within these buildings to access European Union emails, internal documents, and to listen on discussions. And the United States also tapped into EU buildings in Brussels. The European Union's reaction to this was to, I believe they did nominate Edward Snowden for some European prize that no one's ever heard of until now. And
The Edward Snowden Prize.
And they also passed a series of new privacy laws, and they also outlawed specific kinds of surveillance that the United States has been conducting in there. And also they said that it threatened United States European Union trade agreements. The possibility of those happening, but they haven't called off the discussion. Next country is Germany, and in there the NSA gathered about half a billion documents about metadata about communications in Germany, including telephone calls, emails, text messages, and chat transcripts. In about one day, they collected 20 million telephone calls and 10 million internet exchanges. And they also monitored, they also monitored Angela Merkel's cell phone. Angela Merkel wasn't really angry about the first two, but she was really seemed angry about the second one because I guess it was her cell phone. And during the German election, she actually did something risky, which was defending the NSA. But then she started criticizing them after allegedly the United States bugged her phone. Barack Obama denied knowing anything about this until five months after the leak happened. Angela Merkel said, quote, "This is a grave breach of trust between close allies, and the United States, the amount of Germans that consider the United States government trustworthy is currently at 35%, and their opinion of Barack Obama went from, I believe, 75% to 43%. In France, it was found out that the NSA was working with the French government to spy on French citizens, but what the French didn't know was that the NSA targeted the French Foreign Ministry to gather intelligence on policy objectives, weapons trades, and economic stability. And Francois Hollande just did a basic condemnation. He didn't make a big deal out of it because France was kind of in bed with the NSA.
Oh, those French. Always in bed.
Okay, so Brazil. Okay, now for Brazil. It was reported that the NSA bugged. Bugged the emails of the Brazilian president. I can't pronounce her name.
Dilma Rousseff.
Wait, what?
Dilma Rousseff.
I think, yeah, it's pronounced that way, I think. And also gathered intelligence on the Brazilian oil company, Petrobras. And the reason that's significant is because since Barack Obama was president, they've been criticizing the Chinese and the Russians for spying on U.S. companies to help Chinese companies gain economic advantages. And the United States would always flatly deny that they were doing the exact same thing on other companies until now where this was leaked. And because of this, Petrobras is investing $20 billion in Brazilian currency and security for the next 5 years.
On their own or for the entire country?
Just for their company.
Okay.
And the Brazilian president showed her disapproval of this by canceling a trip to the United States to meet with Barack Obama. And they also threatened to set up I don't really understand this, but I think it's like new fiber cables so that it would make it harder for data to flow through to the United States. But then recently it was released that the Brazilians have been spying on American diplomats, and it kind of made the Brazilians seem hypocritical. Final country is Mexico, where the NSA hacked into the email servers of the Mexican president and cabinet members, and this was to gain intelligence on Mexican diplomatic affairs, counter-drug cartel policies, and economic communications. There wasn't really that much outcry from the Mexican government because Mexico's kind of politically unstable right now. Yeah, the Mexican president didn't really say that much about it because he kind of depends on the United States to fight the drug cartels in Latin America. So the significance of all of this is, I mean, it's not like the NSA is doing anything other countries don't do. Everyone knows that other countries spy on other countries, and even a former French intelligence official said this. What's key about this is the extent of the United States spying. There are currently 4 other countries that the United States does not spy on, which are the Five Eyes, which is the an intelligence partnership between the intelligence agencies of the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And they share information and assist each other on surveying other countries.
Kenny,
Yes.
question for you. So if these other countries don't trust the United States anymore, aren't we too valuable of an economic asset for it to even matter if they don't trust us anymore?
Yeah, that's
Right.
right. I mean, going back to the EU thing, they said they might cancel the trade agreement, but they're not going to do that because they have like $100 billion in U.S. revenue to gain from it. So they're just I guess they're just trying to save face with their constituents. Trying to save face with their constituents and make it seem like they're angry about this, but they're really not. But what's key to note about this is not really the spying, but to the extent which the United States is spying on. Ever since 9/11, it just seems that the United States is spying. It just seems like the United States has been spying on countries not because they have anything to gain from it, but just because they can spy on them. So, any other questions?
Let me just add that. Let me just add that the other countries, France and who was it? Germany and Spain went to the UN.
No, that was Germany and Britain. I mean Brazil.
Brazil. Oh yeah, Germany and Brazil went to the UN today, and they proposed new international rules, so like an international framework on how to conduct privacy between countries, and that's like obviously very specifically in response to the U.S.'s spying on other countries. So it's provoked an international response, and like Kenny said, a lot of experts say like there's nothing unusual about this, that all other countries spy on other countries, and then it's more political theater to please their own constituents. But there might be, I guess, this public outcry might be more like a serious event in a trend that is the undercutting of the U.S.'s position in foreign policy.